sitting next to me. Her name was Ruby, but we gonna get to her in just 5.2 seconds. So listen, you guys know that I think I have a slide for that. I am Mocha Marriage certified. I am working on a few seminars coming up, and I will keep you guys posted on my Candyology coaching page for that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, I'm a bedroom candy consultant as well. So next Sunday? Yeah, next Sunday from 1 to 5, we are doing a pop-up shop at Vision Event Center, 360 East Beltline Road in DeSoto. It's going to be about, I want to say they said about 50 vendors there. Get your holiday shopping. Some of us have products on hand, some of us don't. Whatever, it'll get to you before Christmas, I promise you. But this is the opportunity where you can come and sit with all of those different people. So listen. First of all, sit next to me. It's a weird story how I know this lady. One of my very close and personal friends, Mr. DJ, we'll tag him because he was on my very first show, y'all. Oh, yes, DJ. Oh, okay, anyways, listen. So, him and my bestie, Renisha, we've all known each other for 15 years, and somehow they've all connected to this lovely lady, and her name is Ruby Johnson. I'm gonna let her talk about herself for just a moment. Tell us who you are, Chell. Tell us who you are.
Well, my name is Ruby Johnson. I am a sex therapist and educator. I have a private practice in Plano. I organize Poly Dallas Millennium, which is a symposium focused on ethical non-monogamy, folks of color. And I do writing, I speak, I do all kinds of things. So that's me.
Oh, look at her. Wait, look at her. Oh, she thought she was cute that day, huh? So, before we even get into everything, I believe that we have all of your contact information. If you want to connect after all of this, that's how you can do it. She does relationship coaching. Like she said, she's a sex therapist as well. Y'all know I'm a sex coach and relationship coach. A little different, just a little bit different. And we'll talk about that a little later. But that's how you can reach her. I also believe you have an event coming up next year in June, isn't it? What was it? Oh, July.
Yeah, it's July 24th through the 26th. Poly Dallas Millennium. We're celebrating our 5th year.
Woo! Yes, okay, so I can get to actually come this time.
Yes.
I don't know what I'd be doing though. I've seen it before, and I was like, maybe this is something I need to go to.
Yes,
maybe
you talk poly, kinky, all kinds of things.
You're
rubbing on yourself.
Girl, you ain't watched the show. So listen, I have a slide out here. Let's talk about what does it mean to be poly? Because
I like that slide. And I firmly believe in consent and awareness. Polyamory is having multiple simultaneous relationships. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. There's people who are asexual who are in polyamorous relationships, but the main 2 points is that everyone is aware and everyone consents.
Everyone is aware and everyone consents. But you said it does not have to be sexual.
It does not have to be sexual.
And that's what a lot of people don't know.
Right.
So tell us about that part. Like, why doesn't it have to be sexual? I mean, we all in this together. Why can't we be together?
You can be together. You can all be together. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind, right? Ain't nothing wrong with a bump and grind.
Wait. I don't see nothing wrong. Hey. Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all know how I do on the show.
Took it back to the 90s. Back to the 90s.
All the way. So So here's the thing. Like, a lot of people think it has to be sexual. So what would determine that? Okay, so maybe it's not going to be a part of that.
It just depends on the individual and what they're looking for and what they want. You know, some people, it's about the emotional connection more than anything. You know, you have your demisexuals who need to get to know you, have that intimate mental connection before sexual happens. You know, you're a sexologist and a relationship coach, so I'm speaking your language. However, it just depends on the person and what they want, you know, and what they're needing. And, you know, it's kind, you know, sex is a perk, but you're open to the possibility of it.
Right. So let me tell you real quick. Now, I just thought that this was befitting because this just came out like this week. So there's a picture. Can you roll that picture for me, Mr. Don? So we have this story that came out, right? And this is part of my wait, what segment? Polyamorous Florida woman with 4 boyfriends, right? And she's pregnant. I think that part is missing on there. She's pregnant, right? And she said, okay, she's very aware of who the father is, and we talked about that, and I'm gonna let you take that in just a second. But she's fully aware of who the father is, but on Facebook, it's exploding.
Right.
Because they're saying, oh, she's a hoe. She's just a whore. Here I am, looking for a man, and she got 4. What the heck is going on here? So, like, Facebook is, I mean, there's been so many different conversations. So, why do you feel like, first of all, most of the time, you see a man with this, you know, you see him with 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and however many he want, but why is it so different for a woman?
Right.
What's the stigma, you think? I'm gonna let you take that away.
Yeah, you know, there's a whole lot of stigma attached to women and sexuality, but that's a whole separate show, you know. But having multiple relationships is not necessarily gender specific. However, media representation, what we see out there in the magazines, what we see out there on the shows, you know, Sister Wives, all of this is one fella with a whole lot of women spinning around him, you know, and that's not a proper representation. So when you do see a woman who has 4 boyfriends or 4 persons that she's in a relationship with, you know, heterosexual woman, we can go down that all types of stereotypes and stigma.
Right.
But when you do see it, it's a shocker and it's sensationalized, you know. And you can know who the father is, you know. It's called fluid bonding.
Explain to these people that may not know and may not know nothing about the poly life. What exactly is fluid bonding? I know, but I'm gonna let her say it.
It's when you actually have sex without barriers. You know, and one particular individual, you know, this is a lot of conversation in polyamorous relationships, but when it comes down to paternity, and I work with clients, you know, that have this, there can be some things that happen to where there can be confusion, absolutely, but that's probably more of the exception. You know, she can be in a relationship with all 4 of these, you know, these fellas, but she's maybe only having sex with one who has a barrier.
Right.
Without a barrier. You know, it just depends on her and what it looks like.
And when you're saying without a barrier, you're saying without a condom?
Without a condom.
Without a condom.
Yes.
Come, Miss, you got to break it down for people. I know there's somebody going, without a barrier? What does she mean?
Without a condom.
Without a condom,
yes.
people. You
Not
know.
Saran wrap condom. Did you hear that song saying they're going to put Saran wrap around it because he wants to take? I was like, did he really just? These kids hear this and they think Saran wrap is an okay thing to use.
But listen, y'all know I'm a former middle school teacher. I've seen it and heard it all. Yes, Saran wrap works, miss. No. No, homie. So, how does one, in your mind go, oh, I think I might want a poly relationship? What are the things that they need to think about when you're talking about, hey, I think I want to be poly.
Right, and I wish it was like flipping a switch,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like flipping a switch. I mean, you're going to be challenging all types of stuff you grew up with, about one man, one woman, if you jealousy and what that actually means, and all of this stuff. So some questions to ask, and I always have my clients, I pose this question to them, which is your values, your beliefs, your fundamental self.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about it, people want to. Can I cuss?
Yes, just don't use the F word.
I was about to use. I was about to.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I asked because I gotta see. I want to do be respectful. But I tell them, it's not all about sex and having sex with someone. It's also about emotional relationships, getting connected to someone. You may respond differently to this person than that person. So there's all types of things to consider. How do you define commitment? How do you define loyalty? How do you define trust? And it takes a certain maturity level to do this and go down this road.
So what I hear you saying is it takes good communication.
Yes.
And with any relationship, yes, it takes good communication. But not only are you, this is no longer just two people in this relationship. This can be a third, a fourth, a fifth.
Right.
An
entire network.
It could be a whole community of people, and you have to have good communication skills. One of the things that I thought about was one of the first questions I usually ask people. Well, are you jealous? Are you a jealous natured person? This might not be the lifestyle for you,
right. Jealousy is a human emotion. Sometimes we can confuse jealousy and envy. You get those two booger bears mixed up together. That's a whole nother conversation. It can be really, really painful. Jealousy, even for me, I've been practicing. I've been identifying as polyamorous since 2010. I want to say around that. And jealousy pops up even today. I mean, I had an experience with someone, and one of my partners started dating someone else, and I got a little tinge of what the fuck?
No, wait a minute. You was like, wait a minute.
It's a natural, but it's all in how I manage it. It's all in what I'm doing with it.
Absolutely.
And what insecurity is being hit right there. I know mine is about distance. There's another up close and personal. But this is not about me, right?
No, but at the same time, I love the transparency, and I feel like that you have to have transparency and be fluid in being able to say self-aware. This was my trigger today, But how do you manage that trigger, And so, how do you teach your people to manage their triggers with those things?
One of the things is, I believe in attachment, right, and how we attach to someone. Kids attach. Adults attach. And one of the ways to manage is that you recognize that there's individual issues and there's couple issues. And to actually parse those two out. Do a whole lot of writing, check to see what's going on, what is this, what story are you telling yourself about what this situation is.
What's your narrative?
Yeah, what is your narrative? Are you getting enough affirmation, enough confirmation from your partner? Are you needing a little more reassurance? And kind of go down this checklist of what to do and what possibly it could be.
So do you use the yes, no, maybe list with them as well?
I use all kinds of lists.
Right. That's just my most popular one, though. What other types of lists do you use?
Well, Which direction you want me to go?
Flow with it, boo.
Well, I mean, there's a list about, I call it, Meg John Barker calls it the user's manual. What is it that you can check off that you want to try, something that you're curious about, those types of lists when it comes to sexual expression. Also, when you're doing lists about what type of partner you're looking for, you can go down and there's a whole list of values, beliefs, physical appearance and all of that, other list that I use for clients is, the pros and cons of decision making. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about actually when you get ready to make the decision, am I going to open my relationship? What are the pros and cons? What is my end goal? What am I looking for?
So, and I actually wrote that down is what is your motivation?
Right. Yeah. And some people, I'm just going to put this out there. If something is going on in your relationship and you're not stable, do not bring a third, fourth, fifth person into it to make it better. It don't work.
Say it again for the people in the back. Come on, say it again.
If something is going on in your relationship, it's not a good time to bring a third, fourth, fifth, many people into the mix.
It's not going to fix it. Just like a baby is not going to fix your relationship. Adding a third, fourth, or fifth person is not going to fix that either.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that sometimes. And that's why we're having this type of show, because we want you to think about those things beforehand. What other tips would you give somebody that's thinking about getting into poly?
Research.
Yeah. What kind of research?
Read books, research, go on the internet, podcasts. Spotify has all kinds of podcasts. Listen to people. Go to YouTube videos. There's some great ones out there. Get involved with a community. Talk to people. I love referring my clients out to other people who are actually identify as polyamorous or in open relationships or monogamish or in the lifestyle. I like to introduce people to these individuals so that they can actually have a real life conversation, because there's the theory of being polyamorous and then there's the practice of being polyamorous, and it's two different things.
So what do you think, so let's demystify some things. What do you think are some of the myths that people have of poly?
It's a white folks thing. Black folks been doing this for a cool minute.
Right.
We just call it poly.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a heterosexual thing, and there's a whole lot of gender fluidity, sexual fluidity that's involved in it. It's more than two girls and a guy. It's more than a triad, where you have three people together in a relationship, and everyone's in a relationship with everyone. There's all types of configurations. You can design what you want it to look like. There's no holy grail of what poly is supposed to look like. That's a myth in itself. It's not all about sex. People who are polyamorous do not have more diseases than any other people. We're actually tested a whole lot. Yes.
Okay, so think about how they used to say, AIDS was the gay disease,
Yeah.
So, and I've heard a lot of that about poly people as well. And I'm just like, really? I'm concerned about STIs in a monogamous relationship.
Right.
So why wouldn't I be concerned about an STI in a polyamorous? I mean, you take positions to be safe.
Right. Exactly. And, with people talk about the risk, and we do need, that's why awareness and consent is so important, because there is risk. You have multiple sexual partners, there's risk. You got to take care of yourself. But it's like a past the salt conversation in poly relationships. So let me see your latest test results. Okay, cool.
Right. Pass the pepper, pass the salt.
Pass your test results. I love phones. And it's okay to have those conversations. I think what is so probably scary for people is that there is such a free conversation about sexuality and STIs, but there's also more of a free conversation, like you mentioned it, about other relationship dynamics, dealing with mental health and being in relationships, dealing with the holidays. So it's a whole paradigm.
And do you think it's so different from being in a monogamous relationship?
I don't think okay, let me be careful about this one.
Speak your truth.
Okay, I'm going to speak the truth. When I think about monogamy, I think about the dominant culture. I think about, white, male, heterosexual, colonizing of relationships. Okay, I'm very, very pro-black. Okay, and so I think about the colonizing of relationships. So when I think of a different dynamic, something that's open, it's a different paradigm, it's a different way of looking at the world. But when we're looking at some of the mechanics, the fundamentals of relationships, I think they're universal. Communication, fidelity, and whatever that looks like.
Right.
Trust, all of those soft skills and mechanics of relationships are universal, even in friendships, even in our relationship.
Right. And I completely and totally agree. I don't think there's any difference to me at all. Because the same dynamics apply. So, just got a little bit more people involved, but
right. Some principles and values.
So let me ask you this, because this is something that comes up when people ask me questions about it. So, how do you view what you tell the kids when there are multiple kids in the situation?
Parenting. Come to Poly Dallas Millennium. We have lots of conversations about disclosure and parenting and how to manage, when your children do realize that there's some stigma. People want to call CPS on you and all types of things. Yeah, we have those conversations, at Poly Dallas. And I think one of the most important things, is to normalize it for your kids. And be frank and honest with them as much as you feel comfortable doing. Be careful of how many people you introduce to your kids. There's some people who are very, very careful about that because kids do grow attached. And so there's some things to be careful about, but disclosure in itself is a very complex thing, and you have to use your own discretion.
So if, again, we're kind of talking to people that have never really walked into it. So if you were, having a session with someone and you said, okay, so we have 2 kids right now. There's 4 of us in this relationship, and we're looking to tell the kids. How would you, approach that?
Okay, so there's 2 kids and there's 4 people that want to share with their kids about what's going on. First I always ask, so what is your vision of what this would look like? I would ask each person, what is your vision of what this looks like? What are you hoping to tell the kids? How do you want to present as a unified front to the kids? How do you want this to be consistent? And we will have a conversation, and there's no script on what to do. It's basically they figure out what their values, their beliefs are, and how they want to present to their children, and then they state it. Make sure it's age appropriate.
Right.
Make sure that
age appropriate people.
The kids don't need to know so much information. There's some kids don't need to know. Well, mommy's going to be sleeping with. They may see some things, but you need this to be.
Right. There's no reason to say that, mommy rides the dick on this day, and then Miss Sharon rides the dick on this day, and then Ruby
See, I am trying to be professional because I just want to get some clients from this. See, I'm not trying to talk about riding dicks, sitting on faces.
I'm just joking, people. I'm just joking. Because we kind of have to have a little humor in some things because people take it so seriously.
Yes.
And it is a serious matter, but I feel like you gotta be able to laugh at some things.
Well,
because children are definitely in that situation.
And there's some benefits to being polyamorous. There's all kinds of benefits there. Number one, you get to meet new people. That's number one. That's what I love about it most, is meeting new people. You get new ideas brought into your relationship, into your life. Not only you get new ideas, there's opportunities to, enhance a relationship. Some people, have you ever seen the TV show Wanderlust?
Yes.
Okay. See how that enhances their relationship?
So tell the people what Wanderlust is, though.
So Wanderlust is a TV show, and it's set in Britain, and it's this older couple, and they've been married a couple of decades, and they decide to open their relationship up because they're like, the same things going on at home. And there's nothing wrong with their relationship. I think she's a sex therapist, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah, she's a sex therapist. And so they decide to open their relationship up. And when they go out on their dates, they come home and share about what's going on in their relationship, and it kind of enhances their sex life. Of course, there's some complexity later on down the line.
In anything, but
yeah, but those are one of the things when I do a presentation, I actually bring out that show and that little clip. You know, also I bring out She's Gotta Have It. You know, that's a.
I'm thinking. She's
Spike,
gotta. Oh
Lee.
yes, okay. Sorry.
Spike Lee, you know, She's Gotta Have It.
They call me deblacketized sometimes because I don't have all those movies in my head. I've never watched I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and what's the other one that everybody calls me? I've never watched Roots, and there's something else.
Why do you gotta mention Roots?
Because that's the one of the ones that they say I'm deblacketized for.
Because you haven't watched Roots.
I haven't watched some of those things.
You can still watch it. Have you watched Boomerang, Harlem Nights?
Yeah, that's another one that they always say. Yeah.
You're pulling your black card. You haven't watched Harlem? So I can make all of these references and you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
Right, that part. Now, if you want to talk about Friends.
I have never watched the Friends. No.
Get up. No, I'm joking. But we have to take a quick break. I love that show.
Polly kill everybody.
But we have to take a break real quick. You are watching Candyology, and we'll be right back on Power Play Radio Network.
Here at Parties to You Texas, we specialize in creating not just an event, but a lasting memory. We are sure that you'll find something that fits your fancy at affordable prices. We offer pony rides, face painting, balloon twisting, and trackless trains, characters, and so much more. Need a bundle deal? No problem. Give us a call today at 877-PARTY07. Reserve 24 hours a day online or give us a call 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
Hey, this is Lady P coming to you live every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time with my show, Talk to the Hand, on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com. Bam! Okay, let me give it to you straight. No sugarcoating, unpredictable, unscripted, raw topics. Topics such as finances, romance, spirituality, and so much more. Okay, so don't forget to tune in to my show, Talk to the Hand, on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com. Bam! Talk to the Hand.
Hey everybody, it's me, Deborah, your girl, the HR Diva, telling you about my new show, You Got the Job, on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com. Tune in to my new show, You Got the Job, on Monday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. I'll be interviewing great guests from all across the country. Don't forget to join me on my new show, You Got the Job, because you might just land your next job opportunity right here on my new show, You Got the Job, with your girl, Deb, the HR Diva, on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com.
Network, and we've been shooting, a little bit with Miss Ruby. Did we mention that you are an LSW and a sex therapist? I think that we mentioned all of that. I just want to make sure that people realize this, people, because we're having this real conversation. And so we've been talking about the myths, but let me go to something real quick. So one of the diagrams that I really love about poly, I think we have an example, and some people hate it and some people don't. You can tell me which if you don't like it or not. It's this little, nope, not that one. The other one. It's this little how it goes from green to red and red to blue.
Oh,
and blue
yeah.
I love
this one?
it. For some strange reason, it makes me. It makes it so much easier for me to tell people how things work. What are we looking at?
you're looking at, it looks like you're looking at a V, a triad, a Z. You're looking at, it looks like a quad where there's not necessarily an entire connection. It's kind of like two triads together, and then you're looking at a quad where there's all connections there. I can't see that far, but I think,
oh, there's one.
oh, that's much better. Yes.
So like there's, you said a V, a triad, a quad. What else am I looking at? There's another one.
Yeah.
Green is involved with right. Okay, so and we can take it off. But so it makes it so much easier to tell people how all of this works because it gives them a visual representation. So like you said all of these things, and I want you to go ahead and like explain just a few of them. Like explain to people what a triad is. That's probably the one that's known.
Yes,
the most,
it is.
actually.
It is the one that's known, and sometimes people can confuse a V with a triad. A triad is when everyone is in. There's three people, and everyone is involved within the relationship, right? And there's not really a hinge to, and that's a V, where you have that one person, and then they have two relationships that are going, but the two that they're in a relationship with are not involved
with one another.
With you know, and sometimes within triads, when everyone is involved, you have what they call polyfidelity. That means there's no outside relationships. That, you know, so those are a couple of them.
And then we get a little confusing, or some people call it confusing anyway. When you have, I don't know what to call it. Sometimes it's not a quad. It's what's the other one? It's not a quad. I can't think right now. But where I got this person, and they're involved with one another, but then I have this person who's involved with these two other people that actually are involved with this other themselves and this person, and then I got this person that's actually involved with this person over here.
Polycule.
There you go.
A polycule.
I know there's a word for it, and I can't think of it right this moment.
Yeah, it's a network of individuals.
Yes. And so the question that I get asked all the time, well, isn't that just an orgy?
A myth. One of the myths is that polyamory is about orgies. Everyone is having sex with everyone. No, that's not what it is. These are relationships that people are having. You know, there could be different scenarios where things, you know, people are involved in different dynamics, different ways, but this does not necessarily, that is not an orgy. That is not what an orgy makes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify one thing that I said earlier, because I don't want to get into the myth about people who are polyamorous are more high risk for STIs. What I was trying to communicate is that it is very important that everyone is risk aware, you know, within polyamorous relationships, within monogamous relationships, within hookup society, within everyone, is that everyone is risk aware. So that's what I wanted to clarify on that one.
Absolutely. So the other thing that I really wanted to talk about, and we're talking about myths. So and we've talked about the orgies, we talked about the kids. So do you hear the question all the time? So what does your family think? And I can see an aunt right now that not one of mine, but a recent one of one of my clients, and she's like, so what does your family think? Now keep in mind she's being facetious because she's the family.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
Well, what does your family think? Yeah, there's a lot of shaming. People shame a lot, you know, within relationships that don't look like theirs, you know, and so what the family thinks is what the family thinks. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions and their thoughts, and it can be challenging for some people. You know, going home for the holidays is a very interesting time. There's a lot of prep work done in the office. People go home because it is, you know, well, what does your family think? People always want to put that passive aggressive judgment onto it, you know, but families are going to think what families are going to think is more than how you deal with it.
Right. And again, men the same way that I would deal with a monogamous relationship. We have those same issues.
Exactly.
I'm going to take new boo home to the family or not.
And am I going to impress them?
He's real tall, so I mean, or he doesn't have a job, or whatever the case may be. It's the
Or
same.
he may have a wife and girlfriend, and that's okay.
But
But
they
families
haven't-
need to remember, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
Hello. So what other myths can you think about
One,
that you come across a lot?
I just thought about this when we're on break, is that people whom are polyamorous are non-committal. They can't commit in a relationship, which is a myth in itself. It's all about commitment, a huge amount of commitment within relationships. And commitment is not something that is isolated to monogamy. And sometimes we can think we're so committed that we're just trying to keep all the jealousy out because we're so afraid. However, commitment, it has a different meaning for different peoples.
Right.
For different people.
Because I think about how you were talking about friends is a great poly. I have 5 best friends. Literally have 5 best friends. And does that mean I can't commit to just one person?
No.
That just means that I love them equally.
And you
All
love
the
you love
same.
all of them, don't
And
you?
then I love every single last one of
And
them.
so you can love more than one. You're not just breaking it off and it's like this piece of pie is down to the corner. I can only have enough love for this one corner. It don't work like that.
And I think about the fact that they all meet some type of need for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't all meet the same. No,
Right.
It might overlap a little bit, but no.
Yeah, I have one girlfriend who I can go and get my nails and my toes done with. I have another girlfriend who can't stand going to the nail shop, but she loves to eat. And so we go out and we have dinner dates. I have another girlfriend. This is like girlfriend, not.
I got it, but you clarify for the.
I may have girlfriends. I hope my mama's gonna see this.
Girl, bye. She know what you do.
What does your family think about that? My mama's gonna see all of this, But I have different people that I do different activities with. I have someone that I can lean on at night when it's 2:00 in the morning and I can't sleep. I can call that person and they'll answer the phone. That person who is more available. The thing is, I don't put all this emotional labor onto one individual.
Right. So let's talk about the sexual side of some things.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I love talking about sex.
So now here's some myths that I think that we have. People always say, well, everybody is doing it with everybody all the time. And it's a big orgy all the time, right? But what happens when it is 4 or 5 people and it is that orgy, but they're all in a relationship with one another?
Mm-hmm.
How should we view it then?
You saying I can't cuss on the radio show?
Don't cuss, but you can answer the question though.
Can't we all just get along?
Right.
I'm like, so it happens. More the merrier. It can happen. Like I said, there's particular situations and particular dynamics when you do all get together in one California king and you have a good time. And you don't. You can call it an orgy if you want. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I know about orgies.
A share of love.
A share of love.
That's probably the easiest way to explain.
Or can we just say everybody get along?
Everybody comes. That's
it's okay. Group sex. Is that
right.
better?
So let me ask this question. Have you ever, and I'm sure that you have in your practice, have you run into couples where the man doesn't want anybody to share their girlfriend? It's all about him in the bedroom, so there's no sharing of that particular sort.
Kind of like a one dick policy?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I could say dick, I hope.
Oh, yeah. You Listen, don't stop. All right.
That's just another form of monogamy, basically. Another level of insecurity. However, for some people, that's something that DeJorian just texted me. There for some.
Hey, boo.
For some people, that's what I have my opinions on it, and it's my personal opinions, but for some people, that's what works for them. That's what they want to do. But for me, it is a form of insecurity, and can be a double standard, that you can have multiple friends. Some people have a one pussy policy. Also, you can have multiple people, but your partner can't see anyone.
Right.
Which is basically insecurity.
It's the same thing. So when you're talking to your clients, how do you suggest that they introduce certain things into the bedroom? So, you're all about kink. So how do you tell them to address it? How do you push that on in? If that's the issue.
Introducing new sexual things into the bedroom. See, the biggest thing, people don't like talking about sex.
Why?
I mean, it's like sex,
Mufasa.
Sex. Sex.
And it's fine.
Sex is sexy. It can be if you can have sometimes the conversation is great, especially if you're voyeuristic or an exhibitionist, and it's basically it's a conversation of, hey, I've been thinking about this. You want to try it out? Just some simple, easy, flirtatious conversation. Or I got this video. What do you think about this? Maybe we can look at this video and play around with it. Or hey, I was out with so-and-so, depends on the comfortability of the relationship. I was out with so-and-so, and they choked me, and I really liked that being choked. And can you choke me, baby? Or can you spank my ass? I really liked when they bound me and restrained me and spanked my ass. Can you try that? Yeah, that kind of stuff. Just, will you try this with me?
And so I have this game that I play. Well, it's a piece of paper that they fill out first, but I play a game with it. It's called More of and Less of. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it before. So they have this little, on each spot, they have a little place where it's the face, the body, whatever part of their bodies, right? And they have to say, oh, I want more of or less of. I want you to bite me, or I want you to lick here, or whatever. And it's a little game that they play. And the craziest thing sometimes is they're like, oh, well, no, I don't want to show them. Because I try to get them to show them exactly what, especially if they have a problem. Like, for instance, I had someone that was biting on the clit, and they don't want to be bitten on their clit. And so she didn't know how to articulate, I don't want to be bit on my clit. And so she just kept pointing like... And we all died laughing, but in all seriousness, no, it was that simple to say. I don't want to be bitten on my clit, but I do like it when you bite my neck. It's that simple.
Yeah, but it's hard.
It's hard.
It's very hard for people, and that's where the can we try this? And sometimes people, it's a safe place to say, let me show you this video, because they don't want to say internally, I've been really thinking about when you're on top of me, you grabbing me by the hair and just flipping me over and
girl, if you don't stop bridling your tongue, just don't cuss. Do what you do. Wash my shoes. Say whatever you want to say. Go ahead. What?
I was going to say, I just want you to F the hell out of me. See, I said F.
Right.
That's it.
And I mean, and so why do you think that, and this goes for monogamy or polygamy, why do you think girl, I just, oh Lord. Listen, we're going to talk about polygamy on a whole nother show, because there is a difference, guys. I mean, it's it's not too much, too big, giant of a difference, but there is a difference. Oh, I lost my whole train of thought. What was I about to say? Bring it back. Nope, it's gone.
It'll come back. It will come back.
It's gone. I don't know what it was, but I lost my whole train of thought with polygamy. Jesus, we was having a debate about this earlier, going back and forth with one of my coworkers, I would call her, and she's just like, "There's not that big of a difference," but there is.
There is a big difference.
But there is. Why don't you touch on that for a second for us? What's the difference between polygamy and polyamory?
Well, polygamy can be about one man, one woman, multiple spouses. You know, just polyandry, and there's just it's different. It's about marriage, and it's about still the shutting. It's two different things, and this is about multiple loves. People are open to many relationships. Everyone is open to many relationships, and it doesn't necessarily have to involve marriage or anything attached to it.
And there's the other question. Can you love more than one person at the same time?
Yes.
What other questions do you get?
Well, can you love more than one person? And another one is, I'm too jealous of a person to be in a polyamorous relationship. So if I'm so jealous, can I be in a polyamorous relationship? And that's a real common question, you know,
and I think there's yes and a no to that question, though. It's because it's all
some
about how you deal with it.
Some people are just not polyamorous, though. It's a hard and fast. Polyamory is not for everyone.
Right.
And we're not trying to convert the masses. We're just saying that there's other options. And people, you know, it's kind of like, you know, this is a horrible analogy. It's kind of like when you say Black Lives Matter. People think that means, oh, you're excluding white people. No, we're just saying Black Lives Matter. You know, it's inclusive, and we're emphasizing the Black lives.
Like that debate. Blue lives. If I say blue lives matter, am I negating the fact that Black lives matter? No. I'm just saying that all lives matter. So yeah.
Black lives.
Right.
Black lives matter.
Girl. You not gonna have people calling on this show.
She said Black lives matter more. Shit, they need to matter more these days.
So we have an email question. Carla 24. Ooh, that's dark. Carla 24 in Temple, Texas says, "What are the difference between BDSM, swingers, pimping, then wow."
Are we talking like pimping?
Wow.
Is that what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you take that.
Okay. BDSM. I should you put pimping. BDSM is bond. I can't believe she said that. Bondage, discipline, sadomasochism.
Right.
You know, it's about power dynamics and, you know, exploring, you know, between pleasure and pain. Okay. Swingers are people who are in a lifestylers, however you want to call it. Are individuals. It's not necessarily about the emotional connection. It's more about the physical connection.
Right.
And so that's that particular relationship dynamic. Is non-monogamous, is ethical, but it's different than polyamory, which is about relationships, long-term intimate connections, etc. And pimping.
I can't believe that part.
That don't even belong in those.
It doesn't go.
Pimping,
one of these is not
It
connect.
does not fit. We know what a pimp is, and I'm assuming pimping is about, you know,
Putting people on the street
for
for money,
right?
And bringing the dough back to you. Like, no, that does not even fit into the equation.
Yeah,
Carla, at all.
I was trying to make the connection, but I couldn't.
There's not. It does not fit. BDSM fits. What was the other one? Swinging fits. And polyamory fits. But pimping has nothing to do with any of this.
At least she was in Killeen, Texas, watching.
Right.
Thank you, Carla.
But polyamory, I mean, we've been talking about this the whole time. It fits to all of those modes. BDSM and swinging. You can have it.
You
in
can
all
cross
of that.
over.
You can
It
cross over.
It crosses over. Yeah. There's a huge crossover between kink and polyamory. You know, there's an entire group on FetLife. FetLife is the Facebook for kinky people.
We've talked about that before on the BDSM show.
Yes. I want to come back and talk about BDSM.
Yes. What is this? Countries that Ooh. I knew about Egypt. I knew about Algeria. Yep, Kenya. Oh yeah, Sudan. Yeah. That recognizes the marriages of polyamorous.
But you notice how on the one it says polygyny, that means not polyandry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's for women. Yeah.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, Kenya.
Oh. Legal under legislation passed in 2014.
But it's just for the men.
Oh.
I just want to point that out real quick.
Say it louder though for them because everybody does not know that either.
Yeah, there's a breakdown. There's polygyny and polyandry. Polyandry is, make sure I get this correct, is wife, multiple husbands. Polygyny is husband, multiple wives. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's even though they say it's okay, it might not be okay, guys.
Thank you.
Female castration and all. I'm just saying, girl. I think about all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Thank you for your question, Carla. I hope we answered it for you. I hope we cleared up some things for you. And actually, we have to start wrapping up. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I've had so much fun talking to you. You have got to come back. And either make this a part 2, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we did not touch.
Right.
But I also think that you should come back and talk about BDSM too. And we've had it from several different viewpoints, but I think you might bring a little bit more spice to it too. His
talk about orgasm control.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit on one of the shows. But we'll come back and talk. Did y'all hear her? She wants to talk about orgasm control. Do y'all know what orgasm control is?
Edging.
Oh. Can you explain it? People, like for real. There's people that don't know. There's people that don't know.
Oh yeah. Edging is when you bring someone to the point of about to climax or about to have an orgasm, but you bring them to that edge point and you pull back. It helps with the elongating. Excuse the pun.
And I'm probably the only one that got that. But continue.
It intensifies the sexual experience when you do reach climax. It does intensify it.
So yeah, we when she comes back, we can talk about that. Oh, and I can think of so many other things that we can talk about. But guys, you've been watching Candyology, and true to form, we've had a lot of fun. But in all seriousness, both of us are coaches. She's an actual sex therapist, though I'm a sex coach. There's a difference. But there's some difference and some not. But anyway, but you can definitely reach Miss Ruby. Can we bring back her information? There's all kinds of ways to reach her on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I think it was Black Sex Geek, right?
BlackSexGeek.net.
Polly Dallas, all of those kinds of things to reach her. Yes, there we go. So if you want to reach her, make an appointment, any of those type of things, there is her information. For my information, you know that you can go back and watch Candyology radio on YouTube, and all you do is type in Candyology radio. It'll bring up all of the different past shows. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, I'm at Candyology CS. And so, this has been such a great conversation, and thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna have you back. We're gonna talk about this in a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are my shoppers with Bedroom Candy, Candy Mist has been on its way. We are in the 12 days of Christmas. From day 1 to the 15th of December, you can purchase anything that's been on the Candy Mist all the way up until the 15th at midnight. So go on bedroomcandybycandyj.com and see what you like, or you can call me personally. Y'all have my information. If you don't, it's on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, all of those things. So listen, you've been watching Candyology, so I'm wishing you love-filled days and orgasmic nights. Have a great day.